Formula One returns after a very long summer break. More action and drama awaits us in the second half of the year, but there's loads to wrap up. An eventful 3 weeks in the sport of Formula One. Formula One returns after its summer break to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium for round 12 of the season. So Hamilton, as well as Verstappen, Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez are the only 4 drivers to win a race so far this season. Coming into the second half of the year, the calendar takes a little bit of an unusual turn. We now have a triple header here in Belgium, then off to the Netherlands next weekend for the return to Zandvoort, rounding up with the second of the sprint races as well, and the Italian Grand Prix on the 12th of September. After that, we go off to Russia, and that is the last confirmed Grand Prix. After that, we go into uncertainty. The Turkish Grand Prix, also on the red list for the UK, is in doubt. Japan has been cancelled, replaced with a to-be-confirmed race. Further down as well, the United States Grand Prix could double up or not be on the calendar, with Texas COVID cases rising. Mexico and Brazil in the same situation as COVID. Another race to be confirmed as well on the 21st November. Saudi Arabia's track is still not ready, and Abu Dhabi is facing difficulty changing its layout. One thing that is for sure coming into this weekend is that Lewis Hamilton leads the title by 8 points to Max Verstappen. With not scoring any points, Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez remain 3rd, 4th and 5th in the standings after their crash at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Then we get Carlos Sainz ahead of Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, Danny Ricciardo, and victory in Hungary puts Esteban Ocon onto the first page inside the top 10. Further down, Fernando Alonso still on 38 points. Then we get Sebastian Vettel on 30, Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll 13th and 14th, both on 18 points. Finally, Williams have points after a great race for them in Hungary. Nicholas Latifi has 6, George Russell has 4. Raikkonen got the 10th spot as well after Vettel's disqualification, giving him an extra point. 1 point for Giovinazzi, and the only 2 drivers with no points are Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. In terms of the championship and the constructors, Mercedes lead that as well by 12 points to Red Bull Racing. Ferrari and McLaren stay 3rd and 4th. Alpine now move up to 5th on 77 and way ahead of AlphaTauri, who are on 68. 20 points back, Aston Martin. Williams finally on the board now, moving into 8th with the crucial 10 points. Alfa Romeo now have 3, and the only team not on the board with points, Haas F1, who have 0. It's the 2021 Belgium Grand Prix, and this is your Grand Prix preview. Hello everybody, welcome back to Formula One 2021 style. Just 8 points separate Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. A horrible 2 races for Max Verstappen at Silverstone and Hungary, with opening lap crashes as well, has damaged that championship lead. Coming into Spa, it's Hamilton's gain as well. And this track as well has suited the Brit more than the Dutchman over the past couple of seasons as well. Verstappen has had a few accidents that have put him out of races here, notably as well back in 2019 and as well in 2020. However, let's get on to what the important part is, and let's talk about what happened going into the summer break at the Hungarian Grand Prix as well. We finished off and we left you with news that Esteban Ocon had taken victory, with Sebastian Vettel 2nd and Lewis Hamilton in 3rd place. However, we did leave you with that confirmation that at the time of recording it was being announced that Sebastian Vettel was being disqualified, but it was under appeal. On the Monday after the race as well, he was officially withdrawn from the results. Aston Martin protested the decision, the stewards threw it out, and then a few days later Aston Martin completely removed it as well from the scheduling. So that promotes Lewis Hamilton onto the podium as well for that Grand Prix back in Hungary. So it is officially Esteban Ocon the winner, with Lewis Hamilton in 2nd and Carlos Sainz now taking third place. Alonso, Gasly, Tsunoda, Latifi, Russell, Verstappen and Raikkonen now compete out the top 10 as well. Raikkonen now getting on 2 points, but points on the board for Russell and Latifi for Williams as well. Russell was also under investigation, but that has been withdrawn as well because they were able to get the litre of fuel out of George's car as well. Unfortunately not for Sebastian. He came to this weekend saying it was a very tough decision, a very hard decision as well. In his heart he knew it didn't feel right as well. Moving further on as well, into the summer break, there's still no news on the front of George Russell or Valtteri Bottas. We do not know which of the two are currently going to be at either Mercedes or Williams next year. The rumour going around is that they want to give Valtteri a few more races in order to prove himself, but if not, it is George Russell's seat for 2022. A lot of people saying don't put him in too early alongside Lewis Hamilton. So there's a lot of pressure there for George Russell as well to prove himself as well, that he would not be overshadowed by Hamilton if he became the teammate for the next season. And for Valtteri Bottas, it's a proven strategy that he needs to be a lot quicker coming to this one. Valtteri, though, does start this weekend with the handicap. He has a 5-place grid penalty for causing the bowling ball accident of the Hungarian Grand Prix that eliminated Lando Norris and Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc and Lance Stroll, and also damaged Verstappen and Perez's driver throughout the field as well in the Red Bulls. So that's a very close call to watch. Going further on as well, it was just a week ago where we got news that Lawrence Stroll and Toto Wolff were under investigation by police for suspected insider trading because they both bought shares in Aston Martin 18 months before Mercedes and Daimler took over the Aston Martin with a majority shareholder. It's now the case has been dropped as there was currently no knowledge at the time that Mercedes were going to do that with Aston Martin. So Toto Wolff and Lawrence Stroll have been released. So lucky for Stroll, he doesn't have to take a Wolf of Wall Street walk with Toto as well to the Big Iron Gates. Moving on as well, coming into this weekend, it's pretty much the start of 2 home races back-to-back for Max Verstappen. This weekend, the Belgium Grand Prix, all the Dutch fans, 70,000 of them allowed across the 3 days, have made their way in and camped all the way around the circuit as well. And of course, next weekend, it's the Dutch Grand Prix as well for Formula 1, making its return to Zandvoort for the first time since 1984. And it looks to be an absolutely fantastic race as well, building up for that one. Verstappen wants to put on a good home front, I think what the word would be called there as well. Coming into this one as well, Ferrari are going to bring an upgraded package to their car, but that's delayed until at least Monza as well. And Verstappen and Perez have both lost one of the internal combustion engines. Verstappen's crash at Silverstone has damaged that one, and Perez's crash into the wall last time out of the Hungarian Grand Prix has damaged that. So they will take penalties at some point this year. They've now moved on to the third engine with still half of the season left to go. It's a very complicated season, this one. It's a very difficult one to get right. 23 races is currently the schedule. However, who knows what's going to happen next? During the summer break, we had the cancellation of the Japanese Grand Prix as well. So that's put the entire second half of the calendar somewhat under a microscope. We know every race until Russia is confirmed. And then from October, we don't know where we're going. First off, the Turkish Grand Prix on the 3rd of October. That's currently still on the UK's red list, so the teams have to isolate for 2 weeks coming back from that event. But with the Japanese Grand Prix cancelled, they really want to race on the 8th to 10th there as well. So the current rumour is we're going to either go to Qatar, the Lusail International Circuit, which hosts the MotoGP, or we're going to go back to Bahrain on the Outer Loop circuit. Then by the time we get to the United States, that too could double up with a race at Texas. It's even been floating around that a week after the Texan race as well. We could have the Indianapolis Grand Prix on the road course of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's been floating around as well. The race to replace the Australian Grand Prix, that could be either Indianapolis, it could be Qatar, or even one that's been floating around is the drop back in for the Chinese Grand Prix. It really is all up in the air. The only 2 races that we know are definitely definitely going to have Saudi Arabia, which their track work is just starting now on the back straightaway as well. So a mad rush to get that fixed in time. And the same goes for Abu Dhabi as well, because they're modifying the back half of the tracks. A lot of work to do for these tracks. So, and of course with Mexico and Brazil currently as well, struggling with COVID, America having that third wave coming in as well, and still mainly over there, we don't know where we are going to conclude this season. So every race past Russia, which is round 15, we could be seeing very interesting ones. So 16 all the way to 23 is currently in jeopardy. I wonder how many of those we'll get. Formula One is in a mad rush at the moment to get this calendar sorted. They're not even thinking of the 2022 season yet. They've announced that calendar will be decided very early December as well, and be released as well coming into the end of December at the last race of the year, so that we know where we're going for testing. Rumour is as well for testing we'll have 2 preseason tests for 2022. One will be at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya in Spain. The second will be in Bahrain, and then 2 weeks later we will start the season once again in Bahrain, because it looks like Australia is going to take a April date as well, just after another race around the globe as well. So the next year's calendar is pretty much a mystery to anybody as well, and it certainly is getting entertaining. A lot of action here, and that rounds up the Thursday news here from the Belgium Grand Prix for Formula One. 30 years ago since Michael Schumacher made his debut in Formula One. There's a wonderful tribute on Sky Sports F1 coming, where Mick drives the Jordan 191 as well. And coming up throughout the weekend as well, we'll be discussing Michael Schumacher's legacy at this track as well. Of course, the circuit where he claimed his 7th world title and his first ever win and his first ever race. It was an unbelievable situation as well. We'll be discussing that throughout the weekend. But let's take a look around the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. It's changed a lot over the years as well. It used to be a 14-kilometre track. Now it's a 7-kilometre track as well. Throughout the weekend, we'll be taking a look at the old and the new as well. But let's take a look now. On board with one of the McLarens from this season on the UF1 game for 2021 by Codemasters and EA Sports. Here's Lap Attack of Spa. Let's take a look around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. 7 kilometres long, 19 turns with 9 to the left and 10 to the right. 2 DRS detection zones. It is the highest and longest track of the year. Starting a lap then on board with one of the McLarens. Downhill towards turn 1, the La Source hairpin. Down to second gear, 95 kilometres an hour. Control the exit, don't put too many wheels wide as you head down the National Straight. Coming in to the Red Water Eau Rouge, flat out 8th gear to 315 as you climb the hill to the top of Radillon and come down the Camel Straight, 8th gear, 325 kilometres an hour. You're flat out with the DRS as you drop down all the way to the Lacombe chicane, 4th gear, 180. Rise that up as you come into Malmedy now in 6th gear and 235 kilometres. Drop down towards Ravage, down to 4th gear, 140 kilometres. Drop down to 3rd if the track grip hasn't got it as you come into Speaker's Corner through turn 9. Flat out then towards Puong at turns 10 and 11. Flat out, 8th gear usually at 290 kilometres an hour at the exit as you rise up towards the Fania chicane. Drop all the way down, 5th gear, 175 kilometres an hour as you brave your way through to Stavolo. Down, 6th gear, down to 4th gear at the exit. Curve de Port Frere, you're in 7th gear, 295 kilometres an hour as you rise up, 310, 325 kilometres an hour as you blast through turn 16, the first part of the fearsome Blanchimont now, flat out if you dare, before you come into the modified bus stop chicane, all the way down to, once again, 2nd gear, just 110 kilometres an hour. Ride the curbs, control the exit, fire it to the line, and that is a lap of Spa-Francorchamps. Loads to look forward to coming into this weekend as well. The weather does not look great at all. We'll be having our new feature of the forecast screen as well, which will be on the same one as the driver tracker, so we can flick between having a look at the weather forecast as well, because rain is expected all the way throughout the weekend. It's raining now in Spa, and it looks to be raining over the weekend as well, especially during qualifying and the race as well. We've got the W Series coming up this weekend as well, as MotoGP's British Grand Prix at Silverstone and the British Touring Car Championship at Thruxton. Once again, a whole weekend of motorsport coming up once again. Let's take a look then at the times for Formula One's sessions this weekend. It's your standard European time. We're on air for 10:20 for practice 1 and at 1:50 practice 2. Saturday, it's 10:50 for practice 3. Qualifying is at 1:40 with the session underway at 2. Don't forget, at 3:25, you can join us for the W Series with Megan commentating on that one as well from Spa. It promises to be a great one. And then, of course, on Sunday, you can join us for the race. That's underway 1:30 with the lights out at 2. And then at, I think, the times are right there, 8 o'clock for the Grand Prix review. Loads to look forward to then. Coming into this weekend, championship on the line, Formula 1 back after a summer break. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Join us tomorrow from all of the action from Spa-Francorchamps. Good night to you all.